Imagine waking up on a Tuesday morning, pouring your coffee, and sitting down to run your company's automated operations, only to find the brain of your entire system has simply stopped responding. Just days ago, Fable 5 was being hailed by developers as the closest thing we've ever seen to a true autonomous digital worker. It had this massive context window, incredible self-correction loops, and people were building whole pipelines around it. Then, overnight, access changed. Availability plummeted. The king was effectively gone, and the panic in the developer forums was absolute.
Oh, it was a proper meltdown, mate. People were running around like headless chickens on those forums. But it exposed this massive, uncomfortable truth we've all been ignoring. We built a single point of failure. We spent 2 years looking for a single, supreme digital savior, one king of the hill to rule them all. And when that one king went dark, the whole kingdom fell apart.
It is a classic systemic vulnerability. We treat these frontier AI models as if they are infallible deities rather than software endpoints. Psychologically, humans have this deep-seated desire to crown a winner, a single, smartest entity. But relying on one black box superintelligence is organizational madness. When that singular voice fractures, you are left with nothing.
Exactly. And that's why the most important release of 2026 isn't a bigger model. It's a completely different way of thinking about machine intelligence altogether. It's a shift from the lone genius to a collaborative council. Welcome to the Human Workforce. I'm Simon Carver, and we are so glad to have you with us today as we explore the human element in this fast-evolving age of AI. If you're finding value in these deep dives, please do us a massive favor. Hit that subscribe button, leave us a rating, and share this episode with a colleague. It really helps us keep bringing these crucial conversations to light. Today, I am joined by our regular co-host, Lachlan Reed. Say hello, Lachlan!
G'day everyone. Great to be back, even if we are talking about a crisis that's got half my developer mates crying into their morning flat whites.
And we are absolutely thrilled to welcome back to the show organizational psychologist and workplace transformation expert, Dr. Zara Sterling, PhD. Zara, it is wonderful to have you back on the panel.
Thank you, Simon. It is a pleasure to be here. I think the current market anxiety presents a fascinating case study in how we negotiate trust with emerging technologies.
So let's talk about the alternative that's emerging. While everyone was weeping over Fable 5, OpenRouter quietly dropped something called Fusion. And here's the kicker. Fusion is not a new foundation model. OpenRouter didn't spend $100 million training some trillion-parameter behemoth. Instead, they built an orchestration layer. Lachlan, how do you explain this to the folks who aren't knee-deep in API docs?
Right, so think of it this way. Instead of walking into a boardroom and asking one bloke to make every single decision for your multi-million-dollar company, you pull together a proper committee. You get the GPT guy, the Claude expert, the Gemini specialist, and maybe a specialized reasoning model, all sitting around the same table. When you ask a question, they all hear it at the exact same time. They don't wait for each other to finish. They all scribble down their answers in parallel.
It is a profound structural shift. In organizational terms, we are moving away from the heroic leader model, where one CEO is expected to have all the answers, and moving toward distributed cognitive diversity. You aren't asking for a single output anymore. You're initiating a multi-model deliberation. What makes Fusion so psychologically fascinating is how it leverages disagreement. In human systems, we often fear friction, but structured friction is actually the engine of intelligence. The scientific method isn't built on scientists agreeing. It's built on peer review, on trying to disprove one another. Elite corporate boards don't succeed when everyone nods along with the chairman. They succeed when different directors bring competing perspectives to light.
That's so true. In my old improv days, we used yes and to build scenes. But in business, if everyone just says yes and to a bad idea, you go bankrupt. You need someone to say, wait, what about this massive blind spot?
Exactly. And Fusion does this digitally. When OpenRouter ran their deep research agents through this multi-model setup, they found something remarkable. The individual AI models actually preferred the synthesized collective output over their own original solo answers. Think about the gravity of that. A model looked at a combined answer and essentially said, yes, that group decision is superior to the one I made by myself.
That is wild, Zara. It's like a room full of brilliant, stubborn professors actually admitting that the final committee report was smarter than any of their individual papers. I mean, getting one AI to admit it's wrong is hard enough, let alone getting them to agree the collective synthesis is better.
Because the synthesis preserves the nuances that a single model might glaze over. It turns cognitive biases, which every single LLM has, into data points that can be cross-examined and corrected.
All right, let me roll up my sleeves and get under the hood of how this thing actually runs, because it's not just magic, it's a 5-step pipeline. First, your prompt comes in. Step 2, Fusion blasts that prompt to your selected models simultaneously, say Claude, GPT, and Gemini, all working in parallel, not waiting in line. Step 3, they all spit out their independent analyses. Step 4 is where the magic happens. A judge model steps in. This judge isn't just picking a winner, it's looking for consensus, highlighting contradictions, spotting blind spots, and finding where one model completely missed a crucial detail that another one caught.
So the judge is basically acting like a chief of staff, right? Summarizing the briefing papers from different departments.
Spot on, mate. It's the chief of staff pulling the best bits together. And then step 5, it outputs a single, highly refined response. But look, we've got to talk about the elephant in the shed, the cost. If you're querying 4 or 5 frontier models at once, plus paying for the judge model, your token costs are going to shoot up by 4 to 5 times.
But we have to weigh that cost against the cost of being wrong. If you are using AI to draft a marketing tweet, Fusion is absurdly expensive and unnecessary. But if you are doing deep research, technical architecture design, or risk assessment for an enterprise deployment, a single hallucination could cost you millions. In those high-stakes environments, paying a 5-time premium for a deliberative counsel is actually an absolute bargain.
Right, it's about matching the cognitive tool to the size of the problem. You don't call a full board meeting to decide what kind of biscuits to put in the break room, but you absolutely do when you're planning a merger. This brings us to what I think is the dominant theme for the next 5 years of the AI era. We are transitioning out of the phase of intelligence creation, where the main goal was just training bigger, more powerful single models, and moving rapidly into intelligence orchestration. The winner of the next phase won't be the company with the biggest single model. It will be the one that knows how to conduct the orchestra.
Yeah, it's like rebuilding an old trail bike. You don't just shove the biggest, loudest engine you can find into a lightweight frame and hope for the best. You'll shake the thing to pieces. You need the right suspension, the right tuning, the right brakes working together. The future of AI isn't about finding the best model anymore. It's about building the best system.
For leaders listening to this, the practical takeaway is clear. Stop asking your teams which single model they are standardized on. Start asking them how they are orchestrating different models to challenge, verify, and improve each other's outputs. Teach your human workers to become conductors of these digital councils.
That is a perfect place to land. The king may have vanished, but the council is just getting started. Thank you so much, Zara, for bringing your incredible insights today.
Thank you, Simon. It is always a pleasure to dissect these shifts with you both.
And thanks from me too, everyone. Keep tinkering, keep building, and don't let a single model point of failure ruin your week.
And to all our listeners, don't forget to subscribe, rate us on your favorite podcast platform, and share this episode. Until next time, this is The Human Workforce. Keep human, and we'll see you next week.